Okay, well, I promised to do a video to give you guys some ideas on building spots, and of course you can see the pond here to the right. And over here to the right, you will see well right here. And so the community building is going to go somewhere right in here, probably kind of near the top of the hill here. And then you can see our power pole that I just picked up yesterday is going to go somewhere in this vicinity, obviously near the community building. And this was going to be campsites in here, this pine thicket. And well, originally I was going to build here because, you know, I just think this is a great spot. And you got nice privacy over here, and these pines do have a decent amount of branches, so they will provide a decent amount of shade. There's not a lot of big ones, but there's definitely enough to give you some shade. And I think we could have like 2 building sites in this pine thicket. I actually cleared out some space back here. The nice thing about this area is it's high and dry. It's never been wet. And again, you know, you've got these little pine trees in here that are going to give you a decent amount of privacy and shade. So I would say this whole area here is probably, I don't know, maybe a half acre, something like that. It was significantly bigger, but the electric company brought the power right through this thicket, and they took out about 1/3 of it. And so there's the utility easement right there. And so down here is going to be greenhouse and garden area in here, where my truck is and the tractor. And you can see Yeka's camper over to the right here. And we are putting a road in right here that's going to go over to the shipping container right there. And then, of course, from there, we've got to go back towards the pine thicket and then over to the greenhouse and the community building. So there's our little micro cabin, 6x8, that Yeka was going to stay in originally, but we realized it was going to be way too small for any long-term stay, and we cleared another campsite right here, which is where my camper is going to go. So, and I know none of this was done, well, we didn't even have the well in when you were here last. So anyway, we're walking down to the creek here, and these are the 2 best or 3 best building sites on the property, in my opinion, because you can literally be on the creek. And we've had a boatload of rain here several days ago, and this is pretty much, there's no standing water down here. And you can see we put a couple posts in the ground to give the electric company confidence that we were actually going to build. And of course, here's the creek, which is pretty high right now. So And anyway, so this is cabin site number 1, but that could also be a home site. It would need some work, and it would be a small home site. And next to the cabin site here, this is going to be my building site right here. And I just think this is a beautiful spot right here. Got some good sized trees in here. And of course, you've got the creek right here. So now there's one other potential site. It's going to be a small site, but even my site's going to be small, but I don't care. All I need is a house and an outbuilding, and like we talked about, a kitchen garden, and pretty much it. So this is the other site right in here that is on the creek, and to me this is again another great spot to build because it's on the creek, and there's some good sized trees in here. So yeah, and then if we keep going down, then we run into the floodplain. So this is pretty much the last good building spot on the creek. So there's one other site I wanted to show you, and I think I mentioned it. And the only issue I have with this site is that it's going to be further away from utilities. So I think, like I said, maybe 300 feet or something like that. So I'll walk over there though and show you what I'm talking about. And it's a really nice spot. I definitely considered it myself because you could have a real nice view of the creek. And the only thing about this one is, at least I'm assuming at this point, that the sewage would have to be pumped if you're gonna do a conventional septic system. So now hopefully you can get your bearings here to know where we're at. Straight ahead is where we had the picnic when you guys came out, and right in here to the left is the site that I think is a really good site, and I don't think it's in the floodplain. It's close, but I think it's still out of the floodplain. And the creek, hard to see from here. I don't know if you look right there, you can maybe see just a little bit of it, but just because all this brush, when this brush is cleared out here, you'll have a really nice view of the creek right there. Again, this is probably 300 feet from the well and from the electric. So it's definitely going to be costlier to bring electric over there, and water as well. Although, now that I think about it, shoot, you could gravity feed the water down there. Not that that really matters much. But anyway, so here's our favorite picnic site here. And the river's running, or the creek, that's almost a river, is really running good right now. But Yeah, I do think that that site right in there, you know, there's not a lot of room. You'd have to do some grading, and you're not going to have a big site, but like we talked about, do you really need a big site? So, and we could even work out a situation where, like, if you guys wanted some extra ground, you know, that wouldn't be contiguous to this building site, then that would be an option as well. So, you know, in case you wanted to like build a big pole barn and stuff like that. I don't know. I mean, it's possible that could be done here. It would just take some grading, I think. It's probably the main thing. But yeah, so those are the three prospective sites, in my opinion, that would be good. To me, if you don't care about being on the creek, then I think the pine thicket is, practically speaking, the pine thicket is definitely the best building site because it's high and dry, it's close to the utilities, and it's going to be easy to develop. So you really, I don't think you'd have to do any grading in there. Whereas these other sites, they're going to require quite a bit more work, and they're going to be more expense because you're going to have to run your power a little further. You're going to have to pump your sewage if you're going to do a conventional septic system. And so I really like the pine thicket. But I think those are the three best options to be reasonably close to utilities, where you're not going to have to spend, you know, $5,000 just to get your power and water over there. And yeah, I would say the only thing about the pine thicket is that you won't have as much privacy because you're going to be right next to the community building. And, you know, there's going to be some action happening there, obviously. So that would be really the only drawback. And of course, no view of the creek, and, you know, so, but I think that's pretty much it, guys. Now you've, you know, seen what we've done out here since you've been here. And we are moving full steam ahead. You know, a lot of stuff happening, and a lot of stuff planned. So anyway, let me know what you think, and we'll talk to you soon.